Hello and Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is your host Farhan Iqbal and you're watching News Point. So in the previous Express Entry draw, the cutoff was 471, and although we were expecting that the cutoff would be 470 or even lower than 470, I understand that we were off by one score. However, I will share the reason in today's video that why our prediction or why we thought that it would be less than 470 and why in the end it was actually 471. One of the reasons was that we had never seen this many number of profiles created in just 2 weeks time period, the one which we saw in this draw. So the first thing which is being discussed is that whether the next draw would be a PNP CEC draw again, or just it is going to be a continuation of FSW draws. If you have to ask me, looks like now they have got to a consistent pattern of just the FSW's draws from last 4 to 5 draws. My prediction is that most likely it would be an FSW draw. However, there is always a slight chance. The reason being that COVID cases are being on the rise in Canada again. Actually, the number of new cases being reported now are actually higher than what we saw during the first wave. And many of the Canadian cities, especially in Ontario, they have gone back to modified stage 2 of lockdown. So in this stage, basically, they have closed down the restaurants and bars and have limited the number of gatherings outside and indoors. All of this COVID situation that could actually result in again suspension of FSW's draws, and there could be a one-on-one 1 PNPCEC plus 1 FSW draw. There is a possibility of that, but if I have to make a guess or if I have to make a prediction, I would say that the next draw would also be an FSW draw. So before we look at the data, if you still haven't subscribed our channel, consider subscribing our channel so that you never miss any of the updates about Express Entry draws and many other useful information about life in Canada. Let's look at the data. This data is all the way from July 8th till the last draw which happened on October 14th. I have the data from previous draws as well, but it was not fitting on the screen, so I have hidden it. The last draw which happened on October 14th, the data for this was published on actually 12th October. Let me update the date. So all the numbers which we are looking over here are from 12th October. Between 12th October and 14th October when the draw happens, you can say that about 5 to 6% numbers would be added in this because draw happens and people keep on applying, and everybody who has created their profile even 5 minutes before the draw, they are included in the draw. So looking at the data, 601 to 1200 people, the people which are having provincial nomination, they were 454, and it was very similar to what we saw when the data was published 28th September. So this difference to this difference is exactly 14 days, like from 28th September to 12th October is 14 days. So actually when the draw happened on 30th September, there might have been more than 439 people. And similarly, when the draw actually happened on 14th October, there might have been more than 454 people. But if we just compare these two numbers, which are 14 days apart, the difference is only 15, which is, I would say, is almost negligible. In 501 to 600, over here, now there were 382 people, which is about 10% higher than what we saw on 28th September. So these two numbers are 14 days apart, and this number is about 10% higher. Now, 491 to 500, 292 as compared to 236. So again, over here, we are seeing about a 20% increase than what we saw on 28th September. 481 to 490, 702, which again, I believe is kind of 30 to 40% higher than what we saw on 28th September. And from 471 to 480, there are 2409 people, which is actually a little less than what we saw on 28th September. It's about, I would say, 15% lower. If we look holistically, from 471 to 1200, there were only 4,239 people when the draw happened on 14th October. However, we know that when the draw happened on 14th October, the cutoff was 471, and although 4,500 ITAs were issued, the cutoff was still 471. So now you can ask that how come this happened, and as I mentioned earlier, that whatever we are seeing, this 4239 was from 12th October. In another day, you can easily assume that almost 5% more people applied, because if we just go down, So as we know that 4,500 ITAs were issued, if we subtract 4,500 from this, is minus 261. So it means at least 261 people had applied between 12th October to 14th October. That is why we did not see the CRS score come down from 471. So the number of profiles which were created from 30th September till October 12th are 4,050. So basically we come to this number by subtracting from this number whatever was here and minus how many ITAs were issued in the last round. Keep in mind that just like this data is from 12th October and the draw actually happened on 14th October. Similarly, this data is from 28th September and the draw actually happened on 30th September. So there would always be about 4 to 5% difference. However, that's not much, so we can kind of ignore it. From 30th September till October 12th, about 4,000 people applied. That means almost every single day, about 3 to 400 people were applying. So that means when actually the draw happened on 14th October, there were not only 4,200 people, there were maybe 46 or 4,700 people. That is why we saw the cutoff as 471. And if we look at the tie-breaking rule, it is very recent. So it is safe to say that most of the 471 people have been excluded or have been issued ITAs. So before we make a guess that how many new people would apply from October 14th till the next time the draw would happen, let's take a look at what has been the trend in the past. So in 2nd September, 4,200 ITAs were issued. 16th September draw, 4,200 ITAs are issued. 30th September, 4,200 ITAs are issued. And October 14th, 4,500 ITAs are issued, which is one of the highest. I believe we never seen 4,500 ITAs before this, probably once in February only. So I did not calculate the difference from the previous one, that how many new profiles are created, because the draw before this was a CEC only draw, and in CEC only draw you cannot actually find out how many people are left in the pool above 471, because some of the people who are below 470 they are also issued ITAs. So I left this blank, but if we compare from 2nd September to 16th October, about 3,300 profiles were created. Similarly, from 16th to 30th, 3,300 profiles were created. But this time around, 4,000 profiles were created. This had not happened in the past. So that is why, although we were hoping that the cutoff would come down to 470 or even 469, which did not happen because of the two reasons. The one reason is that unprecedented number of people created the profile who had a score of 471 and higher. The second thing which I kind of did not considered in my calculation was that when the draw happened on 28th September and cutoff was 471, if we look at the tie-breaking rule, the tie-breaking rule was from March, I believe, which indicated that most of the people who were actually on 471, they have not been issued ITAs. Only very few people on 471 who had created their profiles like maybe 6 months ago, only they were issued ITAs. Anybody who created their profile in April, May, June, July, August, or September, even if they had 471, they were not issued ITAs. So although cutoff was 471, but majority of the people who were on 471 were still in the pool. However, this time around, although the cutoff is 471, but the tie-breaking rule is from September, which means that most of the people who created their profile even in September, and if they had a score of 471, they have been issued ITS. So now it is safe to say that most of the people who had a score of 471, they have been cleared out of the pool. So keeping all of this in mind, if I have to make a guess that how many people would apply from October 14th to October 28th, I would say it would be somewhere between 3,500 to 4,000. 4,000 is what we saw in the past. If I have to make a guess, I would say the new profile which would be created would be 3,500 to 4,000. And since I am saying that most of the people who are at 471 have been cleared, so the expected number of people in the pool when the draw happens on October 28th, earlier I had a wrong date over here, but on October 28th, I am assuming that the number of people in the pool, since we are assuming that most of the 471 are cleared already, so the number of people in the pool would be exactly the number of new profiles created in the last 2 weeks from October 14th till October 28th, which I am assuming would be between 3,500 and 4,000. So now what would be the ITA it depends. This 4500 could be a one-off. They might go back to 3900 or they might go back to 4200. But let's assume that it would be somewhere between 4200 and 4500. If that is the case, then I believe the cutoff would be close to 470. And if I have to give a range, I would say cutoff would be from 469 to 470. Okay viewers, we hope that you found today's video informative. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share our channel with your friends and family who are interested in coming to Canada. Until next time, this is your host Farhan Iqbal signing off. Assalamu alaikum.